Hello everybody, senior engineer, MBA and investor. And in today's video, I want to take a look at the statement from the President Joe Biden on the FDA approval when it comes to gene therapies to treat sickle cell disease. I want to remind viewers here in this channel, first of all, if you haven't seen yesterday's video, you're living under a rock. You should probably watch that video first before really continuing on this video. But basically here, the US FDA approved 2 gene therapies, as they call it. I don't really necessarily call CRISPR gene therapy. I call it gene editing. And Bluebird's, it's gene therapy, but whatever, it doesn't matter. At this point, just semantics, right? And of course, the president of the US had a couple of words on that. So let's take a look and read it out. So, as we've seen throughout our history, when the US government invests in innovation, we can achieve breakthroughs that would otherwise be impossible and save and improve lives on a vast scale. Today, the FDA announced a major breakthrough for 100,000 Americans who live with sickle cell disease. Living with sickle cell often means putting the goals and plans of every day on hold, in chronic pain and serious health complications. Affects mainly Black and Hispanic Americans. My administration has worked tirelessly close to the health disparities to help deliver care for sickle cell disease patients and their family, and we will continue to do so. This announcement also represents the power of medical innovation to improve American lives. The significant medical advancement holds tremendous promise for developing additional life-saving treatments, and it gives hopes to millions of Americans who live with rare diseases. My administration will continue our efforts to accelerate the development of cures for rare disease and support the medical research for innovation that achieved this breakthrough. So this was basically the statement from President Biden. A couple of my thoughts. First of all, before I do go into my thoughts, I do want to remind viewers I don't have my microphone, the usual microphone, so I'm very sorry for the poor microphone quality. I promise you we'll have our usual microphone by tomorrow's video. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to Mexico for a sales event for my company, so that's gonna be fun. But I'll still bring my microphone. I'll make sure I won't forget it. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty good, guys. This is big. I mean, look, does the administration and President Biden take credit for something like this? I mean, it's a little bit tough to claim something like that when we're all aware that the FDA makes the yes or no decision on all of these, right? So the FDA is not an elected body from the public. They are chosen by the government in a sense. So I think the administration does have some sort of credit, some sort of role. I mean, you got to remember the administration do give relief grants, and of course, it is taxpayer monies that they allocate when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to regulatory bodies. So I think it's somewhat fair to state that, but to say that they'll take the full credit, I think that's a little bit of a stretch, and I don't think they're doing that. I think it's just some people got that impression from this message. Nonetheless, here I think this is big, guys. This is I mean, it goes back to yesterday's video. It's a new era in CRISPR. It's a really new era for everybody. I think there's something to be said here. I think the President Biden giving acknowledgement on gene editing, specific CRISPR. I mean, yes, there's Bluebird's program there that's not CRISPR, but talking about these 2 programs here, I think it holds value. I think people are looking into it now. I haven't talked about the stock price in yesterday's video, but the stock basically went down 8%. And the only thing I have to say about people, and before we start theorizing, was it a sell-off? Were people selling the news? Were people, holding the bag or so on? I just want to tell people that's just short-term thinking, right? You got to think long-term, guys. You got to think long-term. You got to think the big picture, right? You got to think other countries approving it. You got to think about the commercialization of these programs, right? You got to think about the other programs that CRISPR Therapeutics are working on, such as CTX310, I believe, which is their next iteration of 301, which is the CAR T cell program. So you guys got to remember that, right? And then there's the whole, other programs from other companies, right? The success of CRISPR has just begun, right? We're so early in the race, right? And you have, the president talking about it. You have, the FDA approving it. You have the UK approving it. You have Bahrain, a Middle East country, approving it. I mean, this is just the beginning, right? And we're just end of 2023. I'll be honest with you. I thought this would be more towards 2025. We're sort of accelerating this process. And I think the pandemic had a role in this. I think ultimately people realize health, the importance of health. And also we got to talk about technology, right? The rate of change of technology. I think governments are open to that. Governments are looking into it during discussion. We've known this for years. I mean, CRISPR Therapeutics CEO Dr. Sam mentioned how he and his team was in constant communication with the FDA alongside with Vertex, like in 2021 about Hexacell, right? So this has been a long time coming, guys, and I'm really happy to see that. Again, if you're looking at only the stock price, I think you're gonna be disappointed. If you're looking at the big picture, if you're looking at the health of these patients, you're looking at families, communities, you're looking at folks that been affected by rare diseases such as this blood disorder and never had a cure for it, and now we finally have something. It's just the beginning of a new beginning, right? It's just the beginning of this chapter. The book is huge, right? Of CRISPR, the book is huge, and this is a new chapter. So I really wanted to make this video here. I am jumping back on the road here in just over an hour, and like I said, the next day I'm going to Mexico. So I really wanted to make the video. My next video is going to be on the cost of the therapy, just as a foreshadowing. I mean, CRISPR Therapeutics is 2.2 million, which seems a lot, and it is a lot. Don't get me wrong. But Bluebirds is set at 3.2 million, so over $1 million more. And I want to remind viewers that insurance companies and governments have a role to play, and there's no way an individual will be expected to pay that much. So the point here is that CRISPR Therapeutics therapy is still $1 million less than Bluebird. That speaks volume on the cost of the therapy, right? So I'll leave it off like that. So thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, subscribe if you're not. Like this video if found value. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think about this immediate press release from President Biden and his administration? What do you guys think about all of this? In the next video, we'll talk about the therapy, the cost, maybe some other related news. So excited, guys. There's so much to talk about. Thank you so much for watching.